say something that most men will agree with because that's what every man wants to hear. No.
So
Yeah,
yeah, that would be a pick me. That's the
yeah,
argument
definitely.
for it. Only thing that's different is she's in her femininity. If a man is saying that, he's in his femininity also. So I would beg, isn't that like it's contrary to his nature. But while she's being in her nature, what do you think about that?
Uh, yeah, but it still doesn't change the overall tone of it. Like it would. The point I'm trying to make is not necessarily with femininity. It's that one group is saying exactly what the other group would want to hear, but realistically, you can't give that to the masses. Like, how many people are gonna know? Now you got some guy who may be abusive. That's like, yo, see what I'm saying? See what she said? And then he takes that too far. And if a girl doesn't have enough tact and sense, she's gonna take it like, well, I must stay in this screwed up situation or submit to this man who's not making a certain dollar amount every year and struggle with him and go to the ends of the earth in that way because this chick said, you get the husband, you got to play the game, which is kind of what Eddie was alluding to last week. I think that everything has to have more context. Personally, I don't overall like her message because even if it is, she's saying, go after every millionaire, women, prepare yourself for every millionaire. Why should you want somebody else's money? Why would you not want to have something for your own? Why do you just want to be a housewife? Like, every life has purpose. So she's saying you fulfill your purpose as a woman on this earth just to sit in a nigga's house that he pays for and clean it. I disagree with the whole
With
message.
his
Throw the whole
kids,
message away.
with his so you're saying now I just want to point out that you said just so are we shitting on housewives now?
Well, she said
We've been
housewife.
shitting on housewives.
She didn't say she was a
I have a
stay-at-home mom.
question.
Those are two
Since when have
different.
y'all been bigging up housewives?
Men do.
Question.
Okay, no, just kidding. Go ahead.
I have a question. This is for everyone on the panel. Is a woman supposed to be feminine or masculine?
Feminine as fuck.
Well,
I disagree. I think there should be balance in everything.
What? Huh? Wait, hold on, please. Stop, hold on. So if that's the case, a man's supposed to be feminine and masculine.
Yes, he should have some feminine side to him. Yes,
for sure.
for sure.
Hold on, wait. Okay, but do y'all see how y'all oh my God, I see what happened saying now. Woo. Okay. All right, hold on.
So
Oh my God,
the whole
I
point
need
of when your wife is so if your wife is falling apart and she's having a bad day and you go in to console her, that's you tapping into that. So
That's
for you
not
to
being
say-
feminine, though. That's not being feminine
That's
at
just-
all.
It's not being
Affection.
feminine. It's not being feminine. It's feminine energy.
No, it's
That's not feminine energy. Me going and making sure that my wife is good is nowhere near feminine energy.
I think that you guys are taking offense to the word feminine.
No,
Without
we're not taking
understanding what
offense.
the
We're just
energy
trying to make
is.
sense of it because this is
Okay,
hold on. Stop. Let me
yeah. Well, B jump right in, but to protect is a masculine trait. So that's what that would be when you console. Go ahead, B.
Okay. All right. So Q, can you give me an example of you saying this should be a balance? Okay, break that down.
Yeah, and then what Hemp just said is a full-on contradiction. So a mother doesn't. A mother's innate quality is to protect her children. So if that's masculine, then that makes her masculine, which goes against what y'all just said. Women shouldn't be masculine. Y'all gotta make it make sense. Come on now.
No,
yeah,
y'all
so
got
watch
to make
this.
it make sense.
Watch this. Watch
because
this.
Y'all
You
also
said hold on,
That's
B.
the
You
order
said
of the home. That's different.
You said
That's the
you
order of
said
the home.
children. Yeah, you said children. You were specific. I wasn't. So do this for me.
Put him in the.
It still don't make sense though. That's cute, Hemp, but it still doesn't make sense. Y'all
ahead,
just
Bub.
said women should not be masculine. You just said
they shouldn't be masculine. So the
them
order of your house,
protection is a masculine trait. So where am I losing this?
It's not a protection per se. I mean, naturally, a female is going to protect their children. That's just natural. But at the end of the day, the male is the protector of all of that. It all comes uphill to the male. The male is the one that has to protect everything. In that instance, a female is being a female by protecting what's hers, what she had as far as the children. So that's not a masculine trait in that sense of the word.
Right.
And a man coming to console his crying wife is nowhere near a feminine trait. I'm protecting. I'm trying to.
That's affection, though.
That's affection.
So, okay, so what are we defining as
to the men, what are we defining as masculine traits and then
What
feminine
what
traits?
Webster
So,
says.
so we have some clarification. What are considered masculine traits and then what are considered feminine traits?
Submission is feminine.
And me having to go downstairs to shoot a person because they're breaking in the house 2 a.m, that's masculine. Unless you're gonna take your black ass down there, which I strongly doubt y'all are.
Yeah,
So
that type of protection.
I want to piggyback on
So
something.
that's protection. So that's protection. What else?
All right. Well, I'll wait till today's something because there's something I want to piggyback on.
Do any of the women on this panel want? I don't know if you all got men. Do you want? If you do you want your men to show any signs of feminine traits?
But what are we considering feminine traits? That's what
Come
I mean.
on, knock it off. Hey, Alex, knock it off. You know what I'm talking about.
No, but let me tell you something. The reason why I'm saying that is because going to Hamp's initial point about protection, right? Like a masculine trait is protection, right? But then we also said when Q mentioned, okay, if something has happened to a woman's child and a woman's initial reaction is to protect her child, that's masculine, right? So that's why I'm asking y'all specifically.
No,
what are
nobody
the
said
traits?
that.
Nobody said that. Hamp clarified that. Hamp
You're
clarified
contradicting
that.
yourself.
Absolutely said that.
Do you want your
So what
man?
are masculine traits
Hold
and
on,
what are
Alex.
feminine traits? I'm asking. I didn't ask nothing else. What are masculine? What are feminine?
Do you want your man moping around and sobbing around the house?
No. So, Bub, to answer your question, you said, do you want your man to have feminine traits, right? Do I want
Yep.
my man to have compassion? Do I want my man to have kindness? Do I
That's
want my
compassion?
no,
Yeah,
hold on,
that's
let
different.
me answer your question.
Compassion.
Let me answer your
Go
question.
ahead.
Compassion, kindness. Do I want my man to have some type of emotion if something happens? Do I want my man to be empathetic? Absolutely. And all of that falls under the feminine trait. Well, and I do want my man to have that. If he doesn't have empathy for myself or for other people, if he doesn't have compassion, yeah, he could protect some shit. But like you have no compassion for human beings.
Why?
You, for example, in your last group or whatever y'all had on Saturday, you mentioned how when you didn't get a job, you cried with your mom, right? Because you were so upset. That is compassion. That was the empathy. That was an emotion.
But I feel like you
okay.
will be getting compassion mixed up. Compassion is just a characteristic. That's a trait.
It is, but it's part of in femininity. There's nothing wrong.
Is that
you just said it was
or is that?
and you don't want your man to be soft by
One
any
at a time.
category. I don't want a soft man by any regard. So let's not confuse femininity with softness.
All right,
You
but
don't
was
want no soft man.
No.
was he being soft when he cried? Because if you heard the whole story,
No, that's not soft. That's having compassion and that's having.
That's a moment of vulnerability,
y'all-
actually.
That's vulnerability. Exactly. That doesn't make you
And that's
soft. It doesn't
feminine.
make you weak. That makes you a man. And men should have some sense of feminine.
But who would
energy
say
to
that's
them.
a feminine?
Yo, that
Have
whole
the feminine
Yeah.
side of you.
Feminine
Everyone
traits.
has that balance in them. You can't.
You have
That's
to have
just
a
it's
balance. We don't
natural.
want no sweet, soft ass man. No, nobody wants that shit.
Y'all
Also,
not out here
empathy.
carrying y'all kids by the neck from birth. Y'all hold them with a certain sincerity that y'all could call that whatever y'all want. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Y'all
come on
getting
now.
caught up on the word feminine because it's a trigger word for y'all, and y'all don't want to be associated with it, but you should have it, and you all do.
Well, one, empathy. What is empathy to you that makes it feminine?
Right,
It doesn't make
exactly.
it feminine. It's part of feminine energy.
No, it's
It doesn't
not.
make it feminine.
Empathy.
I understand. Yes.
Eddie, you're hold on one
You're on
second.
mute.
You're real low, Eddie. You switched that cricket phone and it ain't shit.
Well, to go with what they're saying, I mean, if you want to go by definition of feminine and masculine, that would be under the feminine trait, which they say all of us have some masculine, some feminine. But overall, the masculinity comes from the men. And that's just, I think, more of what we're leaning to. And us showing the empathy or the vulnerability, if you want to classify that as quote unquote a feminine trait by definition, for us, it's just like we're, you know what I'm saying, we're feeling like we're strong enough to put ourselves in that position, not necessarily a feminine trait by definition.
Asking that because I was agreeing with Q and saying that, I think there's a balance of both. But if we're going by definitions and what you all are saying specifically, then some of the things that y'all are doing is that men do, such as if your child cries or the birth of your child, or if your wife is upset and you showing empathy, that would be considered something that's a little bit more vulnerable, a little bit softer, which would i.e. be feminine.
Empathy. What is the definition of empathy to you guys? I'm not sure if that's the correct word.
It's listed under feminine traits. I actually looked it up.
I don't care what.
Feminine energy.
You just told me.
I'm online too.
Well. Also, Slim, you just said you're not listening to that porcelain toilet or whatever the case is. So, what white man did you Google to show you feminine traits?
No, you're not gonna gaslight me into that one, Hamp. You can play that with the rest of these people on there.
I'm just asking.
No, you know you can't get me with that. Come on, man. Stop.
But maybe nurturing is a better word than empathy, because it's still a nurturing trait.
Right. And nurturing is what women tend to possess more. If you ever hear guys say they like certain type of women because she's nurturing. So it goes back to the same thing. You're obviously, as a man, going to exercise more masculine energy, but you possess feminine energy. So that's to speak to what B was saying, where he was, or somebody who said something about men being 100% masculine, or alluding to that. That is just false. You're not, nobody's 100% of any of that.